Still waiting for the Buckeyes to break out. Welcome to the Voice of College Football as we talk Ohio State with Akron. Game 4 coming up Saturday at the Shoe. We got Pat Murphy on the line from Bucknuts, joins us on a regular basis. Please join Pat on 247 Sports Bucknuts. Pat, how's it going today?
It's good. It's good. It's crazy to think we are a fourth of the way through this season already. I don't know. It feels like things are just getting started, and somebody pointed that out today on our site, and I was just amazed at how quickly these things go.
Yeah, college football season is a short one. 12 precious games, and Ohio State, of course, at 2-1, and got the win on Saturday. Not necessarily an impressive performance in certain categories. We'll point to the offense and CJ Stroud in particular. And for those people that look solely at statistics, of course, 484 yards passing, playing catch up against Oregon. This particular game, obviously, the run game was huge. CJ Stroud passes for $185, hits on 15 of 25. Still maybe some chinks in the armor, some things to clean up.
Absolutely. I think we're talking specifically about CJ Stroud first. I think that there is, a level of the bar has been raised when it came to Ohio State quarterbacks with the last two guys, Dwayne Haskins, Justin Fields. Both guys, and Ryan Day also, obviously a big part of that, being quarterback coach and now the head coach. Both Haskins and Fields came in their first years starting for Ohio State. They were Heisman Trophy finalists. And I think that Buckeye fans expected, and rightfully so, that CJ Stroud would be similar to that level. And thus far, he hasn't been. It's been inconsistent from Stroud, I think is the best way to put it. A really good stat line at the end of the Minnesota game, but didn't have a good first half. Against Oregon, as you mentioned, a lot of that came trying to get back into the game, and he did get him back in the game, but couldn't finish on those final two drives. This week against Tulsa, the stat line does not look as good. 15 or 25 for, 185 yards, as you said, one touchdown, one interception. So it's just been a mixed bag for Stroud thus far. And I think there are a few things you can probably look at here. He's clearly dealing with something with the shoulder, and you see that during the games. He's flexing it a lot, especially after incompletions. His incompletions often are high, especially early in the game, and I think that's a sign of somebody who's not really following through because of shoulder pain. But both he and Ryan Day say he's healthy enough to play. And then I also think that he's still a young kid, and as much as Haskins and Fields were able to come in and do it right away, they both got some time in the offense the year before, and this excuse can only go on for so long. I mean, he's played in 3 games now. It's got to start happening on a more consistent basis. But I do like what I see when he does hit his targets. I like the accountability he's shown after games. He admitted after this game he's got to get better. He also talked about, and Ryan Day talked about it as well, that the Tulsa defense, they played a 3-3-5. They dropped 8 on almost every play. They let Ohio State run, which helped in the big run game performance. But it made it tough to throw, especially downfield. And you saw in the interception, CJ Stroud tried to force something to Jeremy Ruckert instead of taking something underneath, and it's an interception. So Tulsa's defense was I think, a part of it on Saturday. But you still expect a guy as good as Stroud, as good as we believe Stroud will be, to be able to handle a defense, even one that's a little bit trickier than maybe something he's seen in the first 2 games.
And on the play to Ruckert, that just doesn't appear to be, for as good as Jeremy Ruckert is, and I'm sure he's got a future in the NFL, that he's not the guy that you force one to that
Right.
needs to make a leaping catch. You do that to Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave, or a host of the rest of the guys. Looking at CJ Stroud as well, I was curious, but we never got there because the game was a touchdown game with 6 or 7 minutes left to play. If this was going to be a stretch of games, considering that CJ Stroud was, I'm not going to use the term struggling, but not a home run right out of the gate, and with the 4 and 5 stars on the bench, whether there was going to be some time split up to give the other quarterbacks opportunities, and if this was still a competition to a certain extent that would carry into the season.
I think Ryan Day's made it clear, and especially in a game like this, that it's not. I do think we will see Kyle McCord, Jack Miller at some point this season. Ohio State's a 53-point favorite against Akron next weekend. So, assuming things go to plan, I definitely think you'll see those guys in that game. And I thought you'd see them this week. I think there are other reasons, defensive issues and things like that allowed Tulsa to kind of hang around in that game more than most people expected. And I know Ryan Day wants to see these guys in game action, but he also doesn't want to create a quarterback controversy, I don't think. He still very much believes in CJ Stroud, and putting, Kyle McCord in or Jack Miller, whichever guy would be the next guy in, say the second quarter, now all of a sudden the talk isn't about, well, is CJ Stroud struggling? It's, well, does Ohio State have a starting quarterback and things like that? And, given Ryan Day's history as a quarterback, I think he understands kind of the psychological game that goes along with that, and kind of how you play that situation out. And again, I think he very much believes in CJ Stroud. I think he believes that as he continues to progress, he's going to get better and play up to the level expected of an Ohio State quarterback. So I don't think he wants to make this any sort of competition, any sort of debate by putting another guy in there when the game's still on the line. Now, Kyle McCord going in, I'm just using Kyle McCord as the example, going in late in the game, once it's the outcome is already decided. I definitely think that's something, and you can kind of build on your opinions of whoever then. But I definitely think that they're going to ride with CJ Stroud unless things get much worse.